When you use AI tools at work, one of the most important rules is to protect sensitive data. Do not enter confidential company information, personal employee records, customer data, or financial details into any AI tool unless your organization has specifically approved it for that purpose. AI systems often process and store the text you submit, and that data can be used in ways you may not expect. Leading AI developers, including Anthropic, require that their usage policies prohibit sharing personal data in ways that violate privacy laws. Google's AI principles similarly call for giving users notice, consent, and appropriate transparency and control over the use of their data. McKinsey's responsible AI guidelines go further, advising organizations to develop AI systems with careful attention to privacy, security, confidentiality, and intellectual property ownership. In practice, this means you should treat an AI chat window the same way you would treat a public forum. Before you type anything in, ask yourself whether you would be comfortable if that text were visible to a stranger. If the answer is no, do not include it. Check your organization's AI policy to know which tools have been approved and what kinds of information are permitted.
AI tools can produce confident-sounding answers that are simply wrong. This is called a hallucination, which means the AI generates text that sounds accurate but is actually fabricated or incorrect. Research from MIT Sloan shows that large language models are prone to error, and that gaining real value from them requires treating their output as a starting point, not a final answer. A well-known real-world example involved an attorney who submitted a legal brief citing cases that did not exist because they were generated by an AI tool. The same risk applies in your workplace, whether you are summarizing a policy, drafting a report, or researching a fact. Before you use AI-generated content in a document, email, or decision, check the key claims against a trusted source. MIT Sloan researchers also found that AI tools can act as persuasive communicators, pushing back when users try to fact-check them, so stay firm in your verification habit. Use clear, specific prompts to reduce vague responses, and ask the AI to explain its reasoning step by step. If you cannot verify a claim, remove it or flag it clearly as unconfirmed. Human review is not optional when the stakes are high.
AI tools can reflect and amplify the biases that exist in the data they were trained on. This means the output you receive may favor certain groups, perspectives, or word choices in ways that are not fair or accurate. Research from MIT Sloan EdTech shows that AI language models produce different quality feedback and recommendations depending on demographic cues in names or writing styles. A UNESCO analysis found that a major language model described women in domestic roles far more often than men, even in professional contexts. Google's AI principles specifically call for employing rigorous design, testing, monitoring, and safeguards to mitigate unintended or harmful outcomes and to avoid unfair bias. At work, this matters most when AI is used in decisions that affect people, such as hiring, performance reviews, or customer service. If you notice that AI-generated recommendations consistently favor one type of person or outcome, raise it with your manager or your AI governance team. Do not apply AI output directly to people-related decisions without human review. Treat AI as one input among many, and make sure your own judgment, which includes awareness of fairness, remains part of every final decision.
When you use AI to help create a document, write an email, or support a decision, you should be clear about that with the people who will rely on your work. Transparency about AI use is a core principle recognized by leading organizations including Google, Anthropic, and the NIST AI Risk Management Framework. NIST specifically identifies accountability and transparency as necessary characteristics of trustworthy AI systems. MIT Sloan Management Review research found that experts widely debate whether organizations should disclose how AI is used in products and services, and the consensus leans strongly toward disclosure. In practice, this means noting when a summary, draft, or analysis was produced with AI assistance. It does not mean you cannot use these tools. It means you use them honestly. Transparency also protects you and your organization. If an AI-generated output contains an error and no one knew AI was involved, it is much harder to catch and correct. When colleagues know AI was used, they apply appropriate scrutiny. Building a culture of honest disclosure makes your team more accurate and more trustworthy overall.
AI tools can support your work, but they should not replace your judgment in decisions that carry significant consequences. This principle, known as human oversight or human in the loop, is recognized across major responsible AI frameworks. Anthropic's usage policy requires additional safeguards such as human in the loop oversight for high-risk use cases, including legal, financial, and employment-related decisions. Google's AI principles call for implementing appropriate human oversight and due diligence to align with user goals and social responsibility. McKinsey research from 2026 found that as AI systems take on greater autonomy, organizations must contend not just with AI saying the wrong thing, but with AI doing the wrong thing. That risk is real when employees rely on AI outputs without applying their own expertise. In your daily work, this means reviewing AI-generated recommendations before acting on them, especially when those actions affect customers, colleagues, or business commitments. Ask whether the AI's reasoning is sound, whether it has access to the full context, and whether you are comfortable standing behind the outcome. If the answer to any of those questions is no, pause and apply your own expertise before proceeding. Your judgment is still the most important part of the process.
Not every AI tool available on the internet is safe to use for work tasks. Using an unapproved tool can expose your organization to security risks, data leaks, and compliance violations. Research cited by MIT Sloan found that the share of sensitive data entered into AI tools nearly tripled in a single year, even as most organizations lacked adequate security measures for those inputs. NIST's AI Risk Management Framework recommends that organizations establish a formal inventory and governance process to track which AI tools are in use and what risks they carry. McKinsey advises organizations to exercise diligence and ongoing oversight when selecting third-party tools, and to establish standards for continuous monitoring of AI systems. As an employee, your role is to use only the tools your organization has reviewed and approved. If you discover a new AI tool that seems useful, bring it to your IT or AI governance team before using it for work. Follow your organization's AI policy the same way you follow data security policies because the risks are equally real. If your organization does not yet have a clear AI policy, ask your manager or compliance team about the process for getting guidance. Following the rules protects you, your colleagues, and your customers.